Days after the screenshots of obscene chat from a group called Bois Locker Room went viral on social media, drawing massive outrage, Delhi police has now sprung into action. They have arrested a boy and has apprehended another juvenile in connection with this case. The cops have also identified 11 other members of the group who were sharing obscene messages and morphed pictures of underage girls, many of them their classmates known to them. The Delhi police has now written to Instagram to provide more details of the account, of this group, of this Instagram group. They are awaiting details from Instagram to, in fact, further their investigation. Let me now take you, and we have the whistleblower of the Bois Locker Room scandal. The whistleblower has received screenshots from his female friends who had got the pictures from another friend, and she was in fact part of this group. He in fact then reached out to other girls who were discussed in this group, and then in fact outed the entire scandal, the entire group, and the kind of activities that were going on. Many of these chats, and we'll try just to give you a sense, but they're so disgusting that they can't even be put on air, the kind of conversation that was going on. Since the boy who in fact is the whistleblower is underage, he's a juvenile, I'm not going to in fact refer to him with his name, and we are trying not to show his identity as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on India Today. What I want to first compliment you is on the courage that you have shown. I was surprised to hear that now there are threat calls, threat groups which have been made after the step that you took. How are you dealing with that?
I haven't received any threats as of yet, but the girls who stood up against those boys have been getting a lot of threats, threats like rape threats, death threats, and also they were accused of this fact that these girls did all these things just for their personal gain and just to gain fame.
I just want to understand from you, what prompted you to, in fact, come out with whatever was happening in this group? Were you known to few of those girls or boys, those who were, in fact, talking about people in that manner? And also, is it a common phenomenon? A lot of people, those who are watching the broadcast, are wondering whether this is something a lot of young men and women, in fact, are doing. This kind of, in fact, conversations are being held.
So this is very common. Even at some point, even I have been a part of groups like these. I was added to groups like these randomly. And if we talk about this locker room boys group, these boys used to add random people just to get more and more content for their group. And also, as you told everyone, and everyone knows about the fact that they used to take screenshots from girls' profiles, and they used to upload them on the group, and they used to pass cheap comments on those pictures, and also body shaming was there and all that.
Before I let you go, a lot of people are now talking about another group, a similar group which has been formed by girls who are talking, objectifying men. They are trying to use that to equate, to in fact balance this out. Do you believe that there is any equivalence, or do you think that there should be action taken so that it serves as an example so young people do not in fact indulge in this kind of objectifying either men or women, opposite sex?
I don't have much to comment on this because I really don't know about the girls' locker room. But what I know is that in girls' locker room, these two girls were talking about this girl, one girl, and the language they both used were not right, but it cannot be compared. This girls' locker room cannot be compared to the boys' locker room because
Okay.
in the boys' locker room, the pictures of all the girls, like the girls whose pictures were there in that group, they
Right.
didn't know about anything. What was they didn't know anything about a group called the boys' locker room. They didn't know their pictures were there in that group.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the girls' locker room, those two girls are talking about this girl, and the girl they both are talking about was added in the group. It was like a fun talk. Not, I'm not saying that it is
Okay.
that it was anyway right because the language they used wasn't right, but the girl was added in that group, and she knew that those girls were talking about her.
So at least she had information about she's being the subject of whatever was going on in that group.
Right.
In the other group, there are people, those who are talking about other girls, those who had absolutely no idea, no clue that they are being, spoken in that manner as these boys are concerned. Thank you so much for joining us. And, you have done a commendable job. We are hoping that not only at the investigation level, but also it is a reflection on what there are certain other changes as far as the young people, their exposure to internet and how they are using such social media platforms as well. Let me go across now, in fact, to Ms. Jayanti. She is a psychologist, Jayanti Datta. Ms. Jayanti Datta is joining us on the
Dr.
broadcast.
Jayanti Datta.
Dr. Jayanti Datta. Thank you for correcting me, ma'am. I just wanted to start and understand from you. A lot of people right now are blaming bad parenting. They are saying that it is a reflection on what kind of people we have become. Is it just about bad parenting, or are we as a society, as a system on whole, I mean, school, at home, everybody is failing their basic duty, to instill some kind of values? Because there is a big debate on morality and values which is going on right now.
You're right. It's not just a kind of isolated capsule of parenting, but certainly when these kind of tendencies are manifested in this young children, this is the time when they are going to the big reputed schools. They should be more worried about their career and other things. But this is a natural phenomena. While growing up, you do become curious. You do indulge in this kind of little bit of, which you say that not a very social talk. But to come down to this level, talking about rape and gang rape, I repeat, I've been associated with Nirbhaya case from the very beginning till the end. That, everybody cannot be a rapist. Children who talk about gang rape, obviously they are telling you something about their family also. I'm sure when you investigate, you will find there must be some kind of an oppressive environment in their house also. But to talk about this is a kind of a tendency where once you indulge in it, it is like a compulsion, You find it gratifying, you talk about it. And the most scary thing about this particular episode is they are not going to stop it. Only they not only talk about gang rape, they have already fantasized about it. They have it in their cognitive frame of reference. The chances are in their marital life also, whenever they have heterosexual relationship, they will be, inclined to take to violence. And these are the people who don't even hesitate to even subject young children, So that's a group. And moreover, when you have a group, then there is a support, like alcoholics, When you get into drinking alcohol is not a crime, but becoming an alcoholic,
Dr.
you lose out your superego, sense of morality.
Dr. Datta, just stay on with me. I just want to, in fact, also introduce Priya Malik, actor, activist who is also with us on the broadcast. Priya, thank you for joining us on India Today. You know, a lot of people right now, and since yesterday, if you go on social media, now people are using girls' locker room, some chit-chat between girls, trying to make an equivalence that, you know, this is a common thing which happens between boys and girls, no matter which, where they are. What these girls have been talking about should be condemned, but should that be used as a tool to try and make an equivalence with the kind of conversation that we have seen coming out in the boys' locker room?
I'm not going to sit here and say that who's at more fault, but we have to understand the dynamics of gender. There is a huge issue of gender politics when it comes to girls talking about men and when it comes to men talking about women. Yes, both are wrong. Objectifying any gender, for that matter, or anybody's body is wrong. But the fact that this comes from a place of gender politics inequality is something that we cannot deny, is something that we cannot talk about. Rape, as it is a power structure, and we live in a patriarchal power society. We cannot deny that at all. The fact that these conversations are happening from children who are going to become our future adults is extremely problematic, and we need to talk about this.
Priya, you know, a lot of people are also speaking about this as being the reality, a mirror as far as the society is concerned, because they believe that this objectifying, these people are learning from the way women are portrayed in popular culture, in movies, you know, in the kind of roles that they see all across them. Do you believe that it's also time for some sort of systematic change? It is just not hammering these boys. Yes, investigation should take place, but also about the kind of exposure that young children are in fact exposed to these days.
Ankit, I think ultimately we are all a product of the environment that we are brought in, right? And that environment includes our parents, our teachers, our education system, our culture, as well as our pop culture and media. And we are all privy to what has happened. You know, if somewhere in life you have told a girl to dress better, to sit with her legs closed and not said that to a boy, you are a part of the problem. If somewhere in life you have not stopped a sexist joke from occurring, you are a part of the problem. If somewhere you have enjoyed a movie where you can clearly see that a woman is being stalked or uski naam mein hi haan hai or something of that nature, you are a part of the problem. So somewhere I think we are all a part of the problem. And yes, along with punishment, there needs to be reform, there needs to be reparation, there needs to be sex education, and not just the biology of it, but the psychology of sex as to how the power dynamics work out.
Okay.
And I think that's something we need to be talking about a lot more. We need to be talking about consent, objectification, toxicity.
Yes.
We need to have these conversations regardless.
No, Dr. Datta, I just want you to complete the point because I'm completely out of time on this. Yes.
I think it is mainly your socialization, how you've been reared up, who has been your role model in your family.
Yes.
If you've been witnessing as a child that there is a violence between the parental relationship, you're censoring. There is a censor in our thought process, in our mind, which knows that this is not to my temperament.
Right.
I will not take it. So even if you're exposed to all these things, right, there is probably media, the other kind of exposure has something to do with it. But your censoring goes haywire if your rearing has not been all right. If your value education, your sense of morality
this
is
requires,
not properly
this requires
taken care
more,
of.
in fact, discussion in the mainstream. And we are hoping that we can keep talking about this because it is at the family level and as a society as well, so that possibly there is more sensitization as far as young adults are concerned. I will have to leave it there. Priya Malik and Dr. Datta, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. We'll have to leave it there. I'm completely out of time on this.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.